Oh, okay. So today we got Joshua 22, I believe yesterday was 10 through 14. Yes, today is, I believe, 15 through 20. Okay. So today I'm going to be reading Joshua 22, 15 through 20. And, so anyways, yesterday we were talking about how, how God had Joshua, because Joshua gave the people the, the children of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. Those three tribes, Joshua gave rest to. Joshua gave rest to those three tribes because, those tribes they've been working and they've been going through a lot of tribulations and all this. Those three tribes they've been going through a lot, and seeing Joshua's giving them rest. Joshua's giving them a reward, and not only was Joshua blessing them with rest, he was blessing the three tribes with riches and rewards and like gold and silver and brass and iron and all these other riches and materials. And Joshua was blessing the people for the works. But then yesterday, as we read, the people they turned and they rebelled and they used those materials just like when the children of Egypt or the children of Israel, when they were with Moses, just like when the children of Israel, the people when those people were with Moses, like when they made that golden bullock and they worshipped it, the people here now, these three tribes who are with Joshua, they turned away from God too, and they built this altar out of the materials they were blessed with, the riches, and they worshipped an altar. They made an altar and they worshipped it, and then that's when the children of Israel came up to them and confronted them about it. So now we're gonna and like apparently it said they went into war. So today we're gonna be getting into the part I believe where they confront them, like where they actually confront them, where they actually confront them and get into war. I guess I don't know if it's going to lead up to actual battle, into actually battling, but let's see. Um, but yeah. So anyways, let's start this. Joshua 22, 15 through 20. So the western tribes' accusation. So, and they came to the children of Reuben, and to the children of Gad, and to the tribe of Manasseh, and to the land of Gilead, and they spoke and they spoke with them, saying, Thus says the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that you have committed against the God of Israel, to turn away this day from following the Lord, and that you have built an altar that you might rebel this day against the Lord? Is the iniquity of PR too little for us, from which we are not cleansed until this day? Although there was a plague in the congregation of the Lord, okay, but that you must turn away this day from following the Lord, and it will be seeing rebel to this day, seeing you rebel to this today against the Lord, that tomorrow he will be wroth with the whole congregation of Israel notwithstanding. If the land of your possession be unclean, and you pass over to the land of the possession of the Lord. So wherein the Lord's tabernacle dwells, and takes possession among us, but rebel not against the Lord, nor rebel against us, in building you an altar beside the altar of the Lord our God. Did not Achan the son of Zerah commit a trespass in the cursed thing, and wrath fell on all the congregation of Israel, and that man perished not alone in his iniquity? So, anyways, what this last verse is talking about is referring to. Okay, wait, hold on. Achan. Oh wait, never mind, never mind. Never mind. Okay, those are some other people that I don't know of in the Bible. I thought it was talking about Aaron when he told the tribe to build the bullock. Whatever. Okay, no, forget about that. Never mind. I thought that was referring to Aaron when he built that bullock. No, it's not. Okay. But anyways, so this is the children of Israel. They came up and they talked to, and they confronted these three tribes, saying, well, they were confronting them, saying, like, oppressing them for turning against the Lord. It says, thus says the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that you have committed against the God of Israel, to turn this day away from following the Lord, and that you might have built an altar, that you might rebel this day against the Lord. So what it's saying is like, so like in question, they're just asking, like, why are you turning away? And you know why? It's because before, if you watched and you listened to yesterday's verse, you know, and like they were asking me a question like, why are you turning away? And the reason is for that is because they were spoiled. Well, not spoiled, but they were blessed, and that caused them to be spoiled. Because when you have so much riches in your life, you kind of turn away from God. You turn away from you turn away from what is important. When you have riches, you turn away. It kind of makes you forget. Not only does it make you forget about God, not only does it make you forget about having a relationship with God and talking to God and following God, not only does the riches and the blessings in your life make you forget that, it can also make you forget yourself. It can take you away from being yourself. So like, you gotta be yourself. Number one. Well, number one is you gotta follow the Lord. Number two, obviously be yourself. It's a very common message. Huh. Okay, I just had to go talk to my mom real quick, but I'm back, and but yeah, you'll make you forget yourself. All the riches in your life, forget. It'll make you forget number one yourself. It'll make you forget who you are as a person. It'll make you forget what genuinely makes you happy. Because like people think obviously the saying money doesn't buy happiness. It's kind of true. I mean, it's kind of true because like it takes you away from what actually makes you happy, like what actually makes you, happy. I mean, yeah, money can buy you the things in life to maybe make you happy, which could be like I don't know, supercar or big mansion or whatever. It can buy you the things that could make you happy, but that's just temporary happiness. You see, it's temporary happiness and it's not genuine. It's not really genuine. It's just temporary. It's like you kind of rely on money to make you happy, even though you gotta rely on number one God, and then number two you gotta rely on yourself and what actually makes you happy. You gotta do like according to what makes you happy. Instead of relying on money for your main source of happiness, which is what a whole bunch of rich people fall into the trap of, is like, they get all this money and then obviously they're happy with it, but now they're just relying on that for their happiness, you know, even though it's these little things, like these specific things that can make someone happy, and, it's just, don't let money control your happiness. You can obviously have a bunch of money, there's nothing wrong with that, but just don't forget about being happy, like what genuinely makes you happy. Don't rely on money to make you happy, and don't let money distract you from following God, talking to God, having a relationship with God. Don't let money distract you from that. And in fact, look, I had a revelation. I know this. I know sounds very unrealistic. I know it's obviously not really. I mean, I know it just sounds unrealistic, anyways. But yeah, anyways, I had, I guess, a revelation. I guess that's what you could call it. Last night. It's like It's like, yeah. So I pray every night before I go to bed. I'm laying in bed. I pray to God before I go to bed. And so last night I was praying, and I was talking about some personal things to God, but I was also talking about how I was talking about what relatively makes me happy, and for example, what makes me happy is I love what I enjoy, what genuinely makes my heart happy, what fills my heart with joy and happiness is creating things. I love to create things. I love art. I love making ideas and creating them. I really love that. It's really fun. Just creativity in general. I love it. I really love creating things and just putting my ideas into reality. And I have a lot of ideas that I haven't put into reality yet. And I'm just talking about this is what makes me happy. And you know what? I kind of want to put those things, my ideas, into reality in the glory of God. You don't just give yourself the glory for making anything, for doing something. You gotta give glory to God because He put you on this earth to make that thing. You're blessed to even be here to do what you did, to create what you created. And I'm not saying you have to like what I like because that contradicts the whole point of the whole point I'm trying to make is you gotta follow what makes you happy. And if if creativity is what makes you happy, if you love creating things, love making ideas and concepts and stuff, and that's what makes you happy, you can do that, you know? And if that's what makes you happy, you follow that. And that's what I'm for. That's what makes me happy. Is creating things, making ideas in my head. And now whatever makes you happy, you gotta follow that too. Instead of just, relying on money. Money doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't. It can buy temporary happiness, but it cannot buy long happiness. It cannot give you happiness in the long run. What can really make you happy is what you love to do, what makes your heart happy. And maybe what makes your heart happy isn't actually an activity. Maybe it's not doing something. Maybe it's just something. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not an activity. But just anything that can make you happy, you do that. Spending time with your family, you can do that. That's what makes you happy. Yeah. And obviously, that definitely makes me happy. Especially because comparing it to school, I'm not very much into school. In fact, whenever I'm at school, I like whenever I, when- no like whenever I'm at home, I'm more active and more fulfilled than when I'm at school because I'm not much of a school person. I don't really like going to school. I don't really like school at all in general, because I just don't really have a connection with it. I don't find a connection in school. I mean, it's fun. The only reason I like school really is because the only good thing I see about school is that you can socialize and you get friends and stuff. And I actually have some friends at school. I just moved into it. I just went to a new school. I'm in a new school now. But, you know, I feel like I'm more fulfilled at home with my family and where everything is at that I can just do. And, and when I do have homework, that is a bummer, but you know what? I just get it done with, and then I can move on to do the next thing that makes me happy, you know? And sometimes there's even days where I spend my entire day just focusing on school, and that's not what makes my heart, fulfilled, really. You know, it's not. But, and yeah, there's been days where I spent a whole entire day on that, not doing what my heart desires because I'm having to do school because I got homework and stuff. And some days I only get 30 minutes to do what I love, but you know what? I just move on from that and I move on. I do what, and then I just try to find enough time to do something that I love, do something that can fulfill me. With happiness, if you could, and you gotta find, and if you got a whole bunch of things in your life that are taken away from what is making you genuinely happy and following God and talking to God, then you just gotta find some time in the day. Find some time in the day, maybe not in the day, but find some time in the week. If you can't find some time in the week, then try to find at least an hour in the month to do what you love. If you can't find an hour in the month, find any month. Find some month, like 1 hour out of any month out of the year to do something that you love. And if you can't do that, then it's in God's hands now. But anyways, this is just something that, like, God kind of told me, what I kind of realized last night as I was praying. I was talking to God about, like, what makes me happy. And previously, before this, I was, like, a couple weeks before this happened, I'd been talking to God about, like, I'd been praying to God about, like, why do I need to give up my passions and desires for God? Because I was being very honest to God. As I was praying, I was being very honest to God. And, like, about what the situation was, what I felt, and then God will give you an answer. If you just put your faith in Him, just know God will give you an answer. He gave me an answer. He gave me a revelation. And so, you're still probably wondering what was the situation I was in, what was the thing that I was feeling, that I was confessing to God. Well, what it was like, yeah, I kind of just told you like a generic kind of summary of that, but overall, like, basically, I was just talking to God, saying, like, Lord, I got a bunch of desires and ambitions in this life, even though they're worldly ambitions. They're ambitions that came from my own mind and in my own head. It seemed like amazing, like all my ideas, and you can create your own ideas, you can have your own ambitions, and that's really good. But once again, don't let that distract you from God. Don't let your ambitions distract you from God. So I was asking Him, why do I need to give all of my time to you to give away my ambitions? Because I got a lot of ambitions in life, especially if I want to have a family in the future, if I want to feed them and all of that, and if I want to raise my family in the future, if I want to have a Christ-like family, because ambition is what leads up to, I believe, like, a successful marriage, a successful life, basically. It's ambition. You do something with yourself, and that will bring you to, like, success as a person. And to me, in my head, it seemed like Christianity was trying to make success and having ambition bad because of, like, all the commandments and everything that was written down and the law. But I didn't realize that, like, you can have ambition, and, like, that, this is what God answered me with. And now I didn't really, when you have the presence of God, you kind of, you don't really hear Him. It's not like in the Bible where they're like hearing God's voice. It's more like something like a subconscious message in your head. It's like being sent from God. It's like, and it's like telling, and, like, I got that subconscious thought, I got that subconscious message, and I immediately knew it was from God. And so I just started, like, laughing and, like, sort of laughing in tears because of, like, dang, I was worrying about all this, I was worrying about my ambitions a little too much. I was letting them sort of overtake me and my relationship with God. And obviously, I was still praying, reading the Word, and all that. But, I mean, it was still like, I was still considering all of me to God. Like, everything. But you gotta give all of it to God. Obviously, you can't just give half to God. You gotta give your full attention to God. But you also gotta have ambition. So, like, how do you balance that out? You know. Now, but like you see, there is no really reason to balance it out. There is no balancing it out really because, you know, ambition is good. You gotta follow your dreams. You gotta follow your desires. You gotta follow what you love doing in life and what genuinely makes you happy. Like, no matter what it is, apart from religious beliefs and whatever, apart from whatever, you gotta do what makes you genuinely happy. But you gotta also follow God. And I had this idea that it was one or the other. It was God or my ambitions. I had this idea that giving my full attention to God was taking zero attention away from my ambitions. And it's really not. You just gotta put your ambitions in God. You gotta put what you genuinely love and you gotta combine it with, like, sort of Christianity, you know? Like, combine it, sort of, in a way. Like, for example, like what I said, you gotta do things in the glory of God, you know? No matter what ambitions you have, don't make it about you. Don't make your just don't make your ambitions about you. Make the ambitions about God. Make it for God. You know, because even like, just the Olympics just happened. I saw some clips of Olympic athletes in the Olympics, and at the end of the each round, each game, I'm not really sure how the Olympics works, how each game works. I don't know, but at the end of each game, they were given the glory of God. They were given like the glory to God for all of their hard work, for all of the work they had done, like to get to this point of being in the Olympics. Because God will bring you somewhere in life, and yeah, He will. And I had this idea that in my head that God just led everyone to preaching about Him, and He leads all of us to the same place. When, yeah, He uses you to preach about Him, preach about His word, but there's nothing wrong with that as long he's not doing it in the same exact way as everyone else. Like, He's gonna use your ambition to spread His word. So He used those Olympic athletes to spread God's word, to spread the glory of God, because they're giving all the glory of God to God for their works. And so, look, and God gave me that answer that, like, and that, like, you don't need to worry about your own ambitions. You don't gotta worry about. He told me that none of that is gonna matter. None of you making your ambitions all about yourself, that doesn't matter, because when you die, they're gonna be left in the past. But when you put your ambitions in Christ, that's when things really change. And when you're like, I can live a good life, a good, ambitious life, while also making it to heaven, while also making it up there with Christ. You don't gotta throw away all your ambitions and everything for God, because you can use those ambitions to preach about God, to tell about God. And, and that's what God has called us to do. And if you have a problem with, respectfully, like, if you have a problem with, like, preaching about God and preaching about His word out of an ambition, then maybe that's a revelation God needs to give you. But I personally don't have a problem with that. And that's what God has called us to do. to use one of the best ways possible to spread his word is use our ambition. You know, you don't gotta give up your happiness and give up your passion for God, because once again, you can use that to spread God. You know? Yeah, but anyways, that's gonna be the end of this video. Like, it's been 25 minutes already. It's been a while. But anyways, I'm just gonna act out like what I was doing. Like, I was laying here, I was praying in my bed, and then it just came in my head. It just kind of came to me, a subconscious thought, like, and I kind of came to like a realization, like, dang, this doesn't matter. And it's like God was telling me something, and there's a whole bunch of other specific things that have also kind of been some disclosure to me. They've like kind of told me things. Like, there has been a lot of signs in my life. Well, not my life, but there's been signs recent. I've been seeing signs recently about like doing what makes me happy. I've been seeing signs about that, and last night was one of the best signs, one of the most ultimate signs, because I realized all the signs I was getting. And then, what was crazy was, it was like 11:24, I believe. I got up, and like I was just talking to God. I was thanking God for this realization, thanking God for the realization that I had, like thanking me for this revelation that you don't need to make ambition all about you, because you gotta focus on God. If you want to focus on me and have ambition, then you need to use that ambition to preach about me. And so I was like kind of raving over this. Like, I was thanking God so much for giving me this answer. And what's crazy was, I looked at my feet. I looked down, I looked at my feet, and at my feet was this heart. It was this heart. It looked like this. Or not like this, it was like right here. And this heart, and I took some pictures of myself in that moment, like some actual pictures of myself in that moment. Oh wait, look, it opens up. Look, the heart opens up. I didn't even realize that. It opens up. It has a love theme. But I took pictures at that moment of like my reaction, everything that was happening in that moment. I took pictures of myself, just of me just laughing, I was just like, it was wild. And I took some pictures of that because it came to me like, I think I should make a video about this. I think I should make, and this is the video that I had a thought of making. I should make a video about this, about what just happened. And it's so crazy that I just had this heart right next to me. See, this is God's love. He literally, you can believe me or not, but it's insane. And you know what's crazy is, I didn't even realize you could open this heart up. It's a full heart. You don't got an empty heart, and you don't want to have an empty heart. You want to, look a, wait, like a bit of the heart just fell off. It's like a rubber heart. It's made of rubber or something. A piece of the heart just fell off. Maybe my heart's breaking. I don't know. You want to have a full heart. It's got this purple thingy in it. It's in here. That's a full heart. When you take it out, it's an empty heart. Now you got a hole in your heart. And it's hollow love. It says love, but it's hollow now. You want to have full love. You don't want to have empty love. You want to have full love. A full heart. A fulfilled heart. You want to have that. And you can get full love, full enjoyment, full happiness, full fulfillment from just doing what you love, doing what makes you happy, but not just doing it for you, doing it for the glory of God, and using that ambition, using what you love doing just from day to day, doing what you love, using that to, like, tell about God, to preach about God. And I have not yet gone to that point where I'm doing that, where I'm using my ambition to preach about God. I mean, I'm doing it right now. I'm making YouTube videos. That's my ambition, is to make YouTube videos, which is actually what I'm doing. So I guess it's kind of a lie. But I'm like, dang. Oh. Anyways, here's my setup. It was so amazing. I couldn't believe, like, I've never had experience like that before. Like, I've had signs from God before, I've had things like that, but I've never actually had God talk to me in my mind. I've never actually had, like, a message come through in my mind from God. I believe it was God because it was about what I had been having tribulations about. And, anyways, I'm gonna go now. Y'all have a good day. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye bye.